Hey, welcome in, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Titan Talk. New room, same show. I'm Isiah, community lead, Kilgoon with me, and we've got Pon with us as well because we're going to be talking about Open Beta 9 and lots of cool stuff in that update, right?
Yeah, no, there's, I was putting together the list of everything in this update, and I was like, oh, God, there's a lot more than I thought there was. We're going to be here forever today. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this patch. I thought it was going to be a little bit lighter, but we ended up getting quite a lot of good stuff into it. So I'm excited to go through it. Quick preamble about the room. This is our first day in the new room. There may be some technical issues. We have not really decorated it yet. There will probably be things behind us. We are in our new office across the street, which is a bigger space. I think it's better for everybody. You are not bumping elbows while you're working at your desk anymore, so it's great. We decided to set up the table this way with the windows behind, so that you could kind of see people walking back and forth.
Yeah, you make it a special guest appearance from someone. You know?
So we still have work to do. Like the lighting's probably not final. We don't have any actual decorations. Yeah. You know, the camera angles maybe need a little bit of work, but just getting the new room up and casting, I think, was our first priority. So we're just excited that we got to have the show today.
I know, right? I want to give a big shout out to Hindu and Jameson that helped out over the weekend, get the room set up for us to be able to continue Titan Talk without any interruptions. So like I said earlier, we've got a pretty big show today with a lot of stuff in Open Beta 9. So shall we just get right into it, gentlemen?
Yeah, let's do it. We got so much stuff to cover.
So we're going to kick things off with Guan Yu, the next ported god, joining the roster. Let me bring up the handy-dandy laptop here.
And it's not a laptop anymore.
Oh, it's a PC.
It's a PC, so it should run the game better.
With a mouse and keyboard. I'm not typing on mashed potatoes anymore. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So I will bring up the computer. And chat should be able to see it.
If you quit out and come back, it's like don't do that.
Is under attack.
Close the here.
I don't know.
You're not an Apple.
Live troubleshooting.
Mostly I just wanted to see chat as we're going through it, but yeah, we got Guan Yu, so I can just start talking about him.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so Guan Yu, the super standard warrior, brings him healing, brings him sustained damage, force ults. A lot of his kit is fundamentally the same, but we've added a lot of quality of life improvements, and we've given him very unique scaling opportunities that we haven't really done yet before, so we're excited to see what build opportunities we'll have for him.
They can't hear Pon very well.
Oh, they cannot hear me.
Okay.
So
here,
like I said, live
troubleshooting.
Let's go through. Kilgoon's going to turn up Pon really quick.
Yeah. I'll probably wait until to go for the full spiel until.
There we go. All right, try now, Pon.
3, talking. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
He's using his mic, so.
Let's see here. You got a special.
A wild Hindu man appears.
A wild Hindu man. All right. He's like, don't tell.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can people hear me? Do things look good?
I think.
Yes, 1, 2, 3.
I think that's better. Yeah.
Ooh.
Not on. Still not on.
Still not on. 1 second.
But we now got Travis in here.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just everyone hanging out for Titan Talk as we get things.
Hello. I mean, if we want to do it this way, that works for now. But cool. Yeah, let's get into Guan Yu.
Cool.
So, warrior brings a lot of really cool stuff to the game. Giant horse, team fight ult, really great. But we focused on really making some of his abilities a bit more fluid, giving him some just ease of access to the tools in his kit, as well as we have given him some very unique scaling opportunities that no other character really has right now. So we're just going to go into each piece one by one.
Cool. So passive first?
Yep, so passive first. So his passive works very similarly in function. You build up 20 stacks. When you're at max stacks, you're empowered. You have to stay in combat to keep these stacks going, and once they fall off, you have to rebuild 20 again. But what it provides you is very different. Previously, it provided you bonus effects on all your abilities. All these bonus effects are now baked into the core kit. You don't actually need this anymore.
Nice.
Because that loop was something that over time, we ended up removing more and more pieces of it because it was just really difficult to actually manage that. It really often meant that you just didn't have the tools on demand that you wanted. We felt like it was much better to give you those tools and make this passive something a bit more different. So in this case, it's now Battle Fervor. You gain attack speed instead. So you get per stacking attack speed, and you also get, at maximum stacks, even more attack speed. Now, you might be like, why does Guan Yu want attack speed?
Yeah.
He's not really an attack speed character. Well, now he is, because this is my own little personal gripe. You want to build a whole bunch of attack speed to show this off first.
Yeah.
I always thought his ult, when you're swinging his ult, the attack speed should really contribute to that. So, because you're swinging your weapon, right? So now if you build a whole bunch of attack speed, just Odie bow is probably the biggest single one you can get.
Cool.
And if you ult and start swinging.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. You get to swing really fast. So that's scaling number 1. You get to swing faster if you build attack speed on him. So just by being in this kind of enraged state, you're going to get a whole bunch of attack speed, which means that you'll get the feel this regardless.
Right, yeah.
But if you actually build into this attack speed style, you get kind of a cool, fun addition. And that's not the only thing that scales with attack speed. His 3, where you rapidly attack, that also now scales. So if you go to that Ymir with the switch attack speed, you get
oh my gosh.
You can hear the audio is a bit higher. We got some cool audio tech to make sure that the rapid ticks feel like they're a bit spicier. But yeah, you have another scaling factor for the 3. So if you want to go attack speed, if you want to support your team with the Shogun's Kasari, if you want to do things like pop your Dagger Frenzy and not even use it for the auto attack, just use it for the attack speed boost, you get some really cool benefits there. There's a lot of really interesting synergies that happen with him. And we just thought that because letting the ult scale with the attack speed, it played well with this new passive idea that also played well with the 3. So he just has a whole new scaling factor. But he's also a hybrid scaling character in the sense of he has intelligent scaling as well.
Right.
So if we go on to the first ability, his heal, this now actually has intelligent scaling and cooldown reduction, like it normally does, but the cooldown reduction also scales with intelligence. So if you want to play that more utility style, sustain-oriented, team-supporting Guan Yu, you probably want to go the intelligence route because that's not only going to make the cooldown reduction scale more on conviction, the heal scale more on conviction, but if you go to the 2 and the 3, the 2 slow scales with intelligence, and as well as its own reduction scaling. So when you hit gods, you reduce your own cooldowns. That gets even more intense with intelligence. And your 3, if you go to the 3, has some intelligence scaling built into it, but it also has the stolen scaling. That's protections you take. We're getting Mike's hotspot.
Yeah, no, sorry about the bumps chat. We're getting Mike set up.
Testing. Hello?
There we go.
Is that working better, chat?
Is that work? Can you guys hear me okay?
Waiting for chat to...
Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, better.
Yeah, much better. Okay, hey, we got it figured out. Okay,
there we go.
Sorry, first show in the new room. We'll get it sorted.
I have to talk a little bit weird, but we can keep going. The protection also scaling. You steal more with your intelligence. So intelligence is much of the support utility route, and then you can always go your standard high strength cooldown reduction bruiser type of Guan Yu, and you'll have a very similar experience to Smite 1 with that route. But he's a character that wants to flex a whole bunch of different roles, and this just lets him really choose to actually go into any one of these in a really unique way for him. We also have some nice quality of life improvements. So the biggest one is his conviction, his heal. This is now castable during every single ability.
Ooh, yeah, this is a cool little +1.
Yeah, so yeah, you can cast it here. If you're on your horse, you can cast it. You can also do it while you're dashing, even though it's a very short dash. And the cooldown reduction benefit that happens, so if you heal an ally with it, I did make sure that it also does contribute to the ability to use. So if you're 3ing, which doesn't go on cooldown immediately, and you heal someone, that 3 will inherit the cooldown reduction when it does decide to go on cooldown.
Nice, that's awesome.
So just really making things overall more fluid for him in when he wants to heal and when he needs to heal. He doesn't have to cancel his Taboo Assault to get an emergency heal out anymore. He has all these different build variety paths, and I'm just excited for you guys to actually get your hands on him and play him.
Yeah, this is super sick. So he's got strength scaling, intelligence scaling. You can do some cool stuff with attack speed as well. So lots of different build paths for Guan Yu. I anticipate his God Builder page is going to go crazy whenever he releases, with everyone experimenting and adding in all the different types of ways to play with Guan
Yu. Yeah, and there's a few final pieces coming in art-wise. I know today DJ sent me a picture of a horse. In Smite 1, it just kind of blips into existence immediately and blips out of existence immediately. Now it has a nice fade-in transition that happens, so you don't have it just immediately popping in and out of existence. I don't think that's in this one, but it will be in once we have another build go out. But yeah, just a really cool character.
And we also had some feedback today that like the targeter on the ultimate can be hard to read, but it looks like it has 2 circles right now, and it really only has just 1 circle, you know, because that's just the timer element. So we're going to be making some changes there. So, you know, this is not final Guan Yu, but it at least gives you a good look at where he is.
Yeah, so it's really cool. I'm going to bring us back to cams really quick. We've got the new mic. Yeah, Pon is on this mic. We'll get everything polished up for the next show. Again, kind of live troubleshooting. But Guan Yu launching with an aspect. We kind of teased that a couple weeks ago, right, Pon?
Yeah, we talked about him being a character we want to make sure that he had an aspect for on release. We were still kind of debating internally if we wanted, because he's a character that can play support, but he's not been super popular there. and maybe there's a route where we could actually make him a bit more selfish with this aspect. We decided to go with the more support-oriented stop because we think that's a natural place where players will want to explore Guan Yu. So you can play him a little bit support already by just going intelligence scaling into the dual lane. But we wanted to get something that was a bit more explicit in really turning him into a true support. So that's why he has Aspect of the General.
Yeah, I will bring up the laptop and let's talk about it really quick. So Aspect of the General, Battle Fervor, which is the passive, now provides intelligence instead of attack speed.
I'm going to note the bee that's floating there right now. That will not be there long term. That's something that is a tech art issue in this current build that will be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
So ignore the bee.
Just
the bee is permanently
bee,
there.
You know?
So.
Yes.
But Battle Fervor now provides intelligence instead of attack speed. Conviction now applies an additional heal over time and will share protections from Talu Assault. However, Guan Yu loses all strength scaling.
Yep, all strength scaling. So outside of his basic attacks. His basic attacks still, if you build strength, his base attacks will hurt. But his abilities will lose all their strength scaling. So this really moves him to heavy intelligence using and really playing off all the things that intelligence scaling brings him, as well as taking that Battle Fervor and turning it into a stim for all those support abilities. So the extra heal from Conviction is really, really potent, as well as if you actually use your 3 first and then you use that new aspect, which is you can heal while you're doing that.
Right.
You can share that protections out to your teammates, which is just a really nice +1 feature. It means that if they're all grouped around you and you're being aggressive, you can just really, it's one of the few places where we let you do team-wide protections. Yeah. Which is we know is a very potent effect. So,
for sure.
He's going to be leading the charge for his team.
Sonic Keyblade has a great comment. Aspect of the General, does he save you money on your car insurance?
Oh, that's hilarious.
But yeah, we love all the build variety that Guan Yu is going to have with this. We think the aspect really pushes him even one step further into. If he plays standard and goes intelligence, he's going to be more of the kind of bully dual laner where he's really expecting to kind of transition to like a second warrior for your team.
Right.
But with this, he could be really that true healer support and provide a lot of utility for the team.
Yeah, and like we said, he is not done. You know, we're still wrapping up a few things for him. So you see, like, you know, his knees clipping through his skirt a little bit there. You know, we're some of the tech art stuff is some of the last stuff that's getting done here. So don't think that this is the final. We're just
we're still cooking,
talking about everything that will be coming out a week from today. So
sweet. Well, we showed Guan Yu's base kit. We talked about the aspect. Shall we look at his Ascension pass really quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
I actually have not had a chance to look at any of this.
Nice. So we got Shadow Guan Yu up first.
Almost like Demon King.
I know, right?
That looks really cool.
He's got some Nobunaga vibes going on. That's sick. His first tracker is cooldowns reduced. The total cooldown time reduced on Guan Yu and his abilities. So that's super cool because he's got a couple of different ways to do this, right?
Yeah, and as you build more intelligence, you can actually make this effect a lot stronger for your team. So it's just kind of cool to be able to track that directly.
Yeah, I love the trackers that kind of play into the mini games for all the God kits. We've got the Mastery emote. We've got his clap, objectives destroyed, and God assist as usual. The second unique tracker is time and battle fervor. Total time that Guan Yu has been at max of his battle fervor, which is the passive again.
Yeah, so this is once you get to 20 stacks, you basically are playing the mini game of I must stay fighting within the next 5 seconds or I will lose it. So this just rewards you the longer you can actually keep into that battle fervor state, the longer your fights go, the more this tracker goes up.
Yep, this is sick. Next up, we got Onyx Guan Yu, the classic black and gold. This little bee hanging out is cracking me up, by the way.
I do love the depth on this material, like in his like skirt. Like, I mean, it looks almost like a field of stars or something. You know, it just looks so good.
It is funny, the bee kind of matches the edge.
I know, right? Next up, we've got Opal Guan Yu, and I love the Opal skins. Gosh, I love the textures. Like you said, the textures in his cloth have so much depth in these Mastery skins. It's awesome.
Chat's just obsessed with the bee. It's okay. We're gonna get through it.
Next up, we've got his global emote, which is the beard flip.
Nice.
Really cool global emote. We've got his wave. Oh, he's waving to the little bee. Nice. We've got Saint of War, which is his title. We've got God Kills, of course, the Mastery Badge, and then Radiant Guan Yu, last on the track. Oh, this one looks really sick.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really sick. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I might even just want this one for the Saint of War title. Right, that's just a sick title too. Like,
oh, and I love the gold. And I'm not sure if his card effects are done, but we can take a peek. Looks like they are partly done.
Partly done, yeah. Maybe they're just done.
Yeah, there we go. We got some blades and stuff going around.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Looking good for Guan Yu and his Ascension pass.
Somebody wants to see the global emote one more time, if we can show that.
I like that little intro bit.
Yeah.
That intro bit's really fancy.
That's cool.
That's great. Sweet. Let me bring us back to cams because I'm in dev and I don't want to spoil anything. But we had something spicy up next. Pon.
Dude, there's a lot of cooking involved.
Yeah.
Yes, this one. This is the aspect that we had to. This is probably pushing the maximum amount of things we will ever change on an aspect. We are doing this because we thought we had a really cool opportunity to. We thought the kit kind of lined up with it, and we could make the tweaks we wanted to make this work. But it is definitely one of the aspects that pushes what the aspect system is supposed to do pretty far.
Yeah. It is for Kali, and I'm going to bring up the laptop. And chat, it is long. You will notice we've got some text clipping here that will get polished up before the full release.
I've tried to shorten this multiple times. It will eventually just have to not have all the information, but we'll get there.
All right, so Kali, aspect of Unbound Destruction. Kali's basic attacks are ranged. Rupture consumes at 5 stacks to deal damage and heal Kali. Incense no longer stuns or consumes Rupture. It knocks enemies away and applies Rupture instead. Destruction no longer damages, prevents death, or gives immunities. It now gives stats, lower cooldown, resets cooldown on mark kills, and makes Kali's basic attacks pierce enemies and apply 2 Rupture stacks.
Yes. So,
which is a lot.
Yes, a lot of changes here. But the goal is, she is now a ranged carry.
Yes.
That was the goal. We wanted to. We've done this a little bit with Kernos, who was originally a character that had this kind of more melee side to him, and we want to just make that with his aspect a bit more pronounced. With Kali, we've really been looking for an opportunity to take a character that's melee and turn them ranged.
Yeah.
And Kali worked really well because she has identifiable weapons. Her animations when she goes to swing feels like they could be her throwing them, and she already has projectiles baked in. We've done some tweaks to them to make sure they're distinct from her too. As well as she had the pieces of abilities that could make for an interesting hunter kit if we would just tweak the rules a little bit.
Right.
So that's why Rupture now works differently than it does on base Kali. So instead of Rupture being something you build up to 5 and then consume with incense, it is now you build up to 5 and it bursts. You build up to 5 and it bursts. You build up to 5 and it bursts. And this gives bonus damage and heals Kali, which plays really well with her unique auto attack chain, which is another reason we want to make her range, which is that 1.5.5. So it actually does, it works really well with on-hit effects. It works really well with then applying this base damage because it's a base amount of damage. It doesn't scale with any stat. So you really want to go high attack speed on her. We've tweaked Incense completely because a ranged character having a stun if anyone gets close to you, a leap away, and as well as a death immunity would definitely be a lot.
For sure.
So we've pivoted them to be more tools that would be useful for her as a hunter, and turned her ultimate into a very low cooldown. It's 50 scaling to 30 seconds ultimate. That is a hyper stim that if you get a kill, it immediately resets.
Yeah, and I'm going to go into game here,
target.
and we can show it off.
So,
and a little bit of a spoiler, we've got some God Builders showing up in the auto build tab, which is cool.
Oh, yeah,
We'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Very hype.
But I will just go ahead and call Lee. I'll set 20. I will turn the aspect on. Let's reduce cooldowns as well, and we'll spawn a couple of bots here as well, just to show everything off.
And again, this is very much we generally like fun aspects where we can tweak 1 to 2 abilities, and we tweak them in a way that really promotes a different way to play the character. This is definitely pushing the amount of tweaks we would want to normally do for an aspect, but to make this style of play change work, we felt like we had to. So you can see here, as you go up to 5, the 5th one bursts and does some damage. It would heal you if you were damaged. Your 3 now knocks away to apply stacks. Your 1 still applies 3 stacks. Your 2 still applies stacks. So you can use those as really quick ways to build up stacks for the target. And then when you ult, you now are stimmed, your attacks pass through and apply 2 stacks each. And you get a kill on your marked target, the cooldown will immediately reset if it's on. If you're currently using it, when it ends, it'll be immediately available for you to use again.
That's so crazy.
She very much is the hyper late game terror in a very different way from the assassin version of her.
Right.
Yeah.
The assassin version of her, she can dive in,
lot
be
of
immune
attacks
to
easier.
death, really shred your team up. In this case, she is vulnerable. She can actually die. The ult no longer protects her from death. But if she's allowed to just hold left click at you, she is terrifying.
Yeah, and the big thing to keep in mind is that she does not have death immunity anymore,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So that's a huge trade-off because that's a big part of what makes Kali Kali, right?
Yes. So you can see here in the high attack speed build, you're going.
Oh yeah, this is sick.
And can you show the incense again, just how
yeah.
it knocks people away? And that effects we're having some issues with today. We're looking into.
Yeah, it looks like I'll have to go looking to see what that effect is that's sticking around. It might be.
I will not fall.
I wonder if it's the hole. I'll have to go look. But there's definitely some effects sticking around that shouldn't be sticking around, but we'll fix that before obviously she goes live.
But yeah, probably one of the craziest aspects we've ever cooked up. I'm super excited to see what people do with this.
Yeah, we've had a few playtests with it. It was very strong in the first one, but also was working slightly different. So I made some adjustments, I made some tweaks. So we'll see how this one feels, but she is going to be very squishy. If you catch her out with a stun, she no longer has a way to prevent death, so she can be very easily burst down. But yeah, if she can hold left click, she's going to be a terror.
Oh, for sure. So Kali's aspect coming in OB9 as well. So we talked about Guan Yu base kit. Guan Yu has an aspect in the update, and Kali also has an aspect in this update as well. But that's not all. Kilgoon, I know you have a long list.
I have a long list. What do you want to go to next?
Talk about? Let's talk about. Should we talk about the Traveler?
Yes. Okay. So everybody has really liked this wandering market system that we've introduced as kind of like the new battle pass replacement, and we still plan to release a new wandering market that works exactly like your existing wandering markets every 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But some people have like built up a lot of coins and are like, it'd be cool to have something else to spend those on, right? So we thought it would be interesting to maybe add some other like short-term markets to the general wandering market area for people that just have a lot of coins and kind of want to deal on some good content. So for this one, basically we were calling these like traveler markets because they're not going to be around forever in the way that normal wandering markets are.
Right.
They'll be around for about, I believe, 6 or 8 weeks. I forget exactly what the timeline is. And you'll have that long to complete it. So it's a little bit different than the normal market.
Right.
They'll also be a little bit more expensive, and they're going to have a little bit less content, right? But it's still a deal versus buying the content normally.
Right.
And it's just another opportunity to get stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can pull it up and take a look at it.
Yeah. I will pull it up now.
Yeah. So this is going to be the first one. We thought we'd do a little springtime thing with some bees. This is why the bee was flying around today.
He's just hanging out everywhere.
This is going to be like centered on a new Yemoja skin that's being bee themed, which I think is just a very cool looking skin.
Yeah.
And just a neat skin. There's also a title in there called Bee's Knees, which is one of the best titles. Everybody is using it. Can you click on the other two kind of like, so there's a ward skin with a flapping bee. And I believe the last one is just a badge.
Yep, little badge.
Cute
you get a little bee friend to
cute
hang
little
out with
bee
you.
badge.
Yep.
The other thing that's going to be included in this is you're going to unlock the Jingwei classic skin Bumblebee just for buying it.
Yeah.
Right? So when you buy the market or buy the Traveler market, you're going to get the Jingwei bee skin, Bumblebee skin instantly.
Yeah.
It is a classic skin. It will be available for Legacy Gem purchase after this Traveler goes away. So in 8 weeks, you'll be, if you don't buy into the market, you'll still be able to get Bumblebee Jingwei with Legacy Gems, just like always. And then there is a new prism for her that's exclusive to this market, which is a Bumblebee. So
or
if
ladybug.
Sorry, I was reading the words instead of saying what I saw. Yes, which is a ladybug. So if you want another fun market that gives you a way to spend some of your coins if you got a lot that you're sitting on, and you can get this cool Yemoja skin, you can get this cool Bumblebee Jingwei. It's a fun new thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
Yep, that's the first Traveler. I think the team, this is the first one we're doing, and there's potential for us to do more in the future, depending on how they're received.
Yep, and yeah. So I think that's kind of everything. It's priced about, I believe, about or slightly less than if you were just buying the one new Yemoja skin directly.
Yeah.
And you get all the other stuff just by unlocking it with your Wandering Market coins.
Right.
So we thought it felt like a pretty decent deal at that price. And you got, the period of time to do it.
Yeah, that's lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring us back to Cam's because we've got some other skins that we wanted to talk about as well. I'm just going to go down on my list. Cerberus has a cross-gen skin that is joining the Battleground in this update. It is the Shadow Sentry skin. I will pull it up really quick, and we can show that off. Looks sick.
Wow.
I love the textures on this one.
Looks
in the
good.
purples.
And this is a cross-gen skin, so if you own it in Smite 1, you'll get it in Smite 2, or if you don't, you'll be able to buy it in Smite 2.
Yep.
There's also a button to listen to voice packs now. I think we added that last pack, or last patch, but it's a nice little addition.
Yeah, I believe it was up here at first, but then we did a little bit more additional art treatment and moved it. So it's right here next to the equip button. Let me bring us back to Cam's. I'm in dev, so I don't want to spoil anything. What is next on my list? Miss Cinchi Bologna.
Sorry, I just saw something from chat. Is the new market 50% off with legacy gems? Yes. So if you have legacy gems, it'll be 1,200 diamonds, 1,200 legacy gems.
Yeah.
So.
Good question. And then we've got Miss Cinchi Bologna. We actually had an issue with it showing up in game, but it was able to get fixed pretty quickly right before the show. I will call out that some of the textures are acting a little bit wonky on the prisms that we will go over in a second. But we've got another classic skin joining the Battleground, Miss Cinchi Bologna, kind of like the Demon High School theme from Smite 1, making its way to Smite 2.
Yep.
And it's got a few prisms. We've got Neo Wave, and again, the textures on the sword. A little bit work in progress here, but those will be polished up. But I love the neon blue here. And then next up, we've got Golden Grad.
Oh, that's cool.
That's good. I like that one.
Yeah, that one would be the one that I'd use.
Oh, yeah, I love the white. And then last and not least, we've got Varsity.
I would probably use Varsity.
Nice.
I just like bright things.
Yeah.
So.
Those are really cool.
Yep.
Those are really neat.
So classic skin means you can get the classic skin with 100% legacy gems. And then the prisms are diamond only. I don't think we've priced these yet. We're still figuring out what the right price for prisms is.
Yep. What is next on my list? Just because we have a lot to go over.
List.
I have announcer packs, Kilgoon.
Yes.
You want to talk about announcer packs?
Sure. So we are bringing back announcer packs with our first wave of classic announcer packs. So this first wave, there's just going to be a few. There's only going to be 33 announcer packs added to the game. So I believe Lore Lady is one of them. Chat's asking already. These are going to be sold in the same way that the classic music packs were sold. So there's just going to be a big old chest. We don't really have any other way to list 33 things right now, just the way that our store is set up. So grab some announcer packs. They're priced for 100% legacy gems.
Yep.
I want to say they're priced the same as the music packs were. So if you were okay with that pricing, that's what they will be.
Yep. And I believe the announcer packs, just a little bit more work to incorporate than music packs. That's why we're kind of going in waves. So if you've got a favorite announcer pack that isn't in this first wave, don't worry.
Yes.
We're going through announcer packs on a case-by-case basis to add them into Smite.
Yeah, I was talking with Blake, and I believe that he said that the current plan is that he thinks we'll do them in probably 3 waves. So I don't know if it's each wave is 33 and there's about 99 that we'll bring over. There's some that we can't bring over, right? So things that are tied to
crossover stuff,
crossovers, things that are done by former employees that weren't okay with us bringing it over or didn't want us to bring it over. Like I DM'd Bart and I was like, hey Bart, can we bring your pack over? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. But some people maybe were less okay with that. So Bruce Buffer we can't bring over because that was a contract one. So sorry about that. But we'll be bringing over kind of as many as we can, and we'll be getting them over kind of over time, but just not all at once. You'll only start with 33. Sorry, guys.
I just know Kepri was there, so
Yes.
I was
You're good.
Yep. Kepri's a great one, dude.
Oh,
That's
I
one of
love the
best ones.
Baron one. Is my favorite.
I never used the Baron one. Is it good?
It's really good.
Okay.
It's sick. Sweet. Next up on the list.
Oh, go for whatever's next.
No, go ahead.
No.
Kilgoon.
I was going to ask about something, but you have a list.
No,
so
I
go
was
for it.
going to. We were talking about audio stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say we should do
there
next.
we go. Let's talk about Quips. So we've got another round of Quips coming in.
So
Smite 2 this update.
I'm just going to say generally, like the community reaction to Quips was somewhat polarized. Some people really liked the first round. Some people were like, pay to fart, and we're a little bit less excited. I think there's a good argument that we probably should have started with our second round of Quips instead of the one that we started with, but we were having fun with them internally, and so we started with that. The second round of Quips is some of the best esports calls from the history of Smite. So you can react to things happening in game with like esports calls. And we thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So we have, I think, how many are in this pack?
I think 8.
I think there's 8 in the pack. I don't know what they're priced at. I'm going to guess it's about the same. But if you want to play them, we have the audio files for all 8 of them.
I will
here.
play them really quick. I'll bring up the laptop. No us for right now, but we'll go through the quips and play, and we can hear some of the calls that you can use with quips.
Untouched, unscathed, bow down to your kings.
That's a good one. Shout out to Dolson.
Let the crowd explode.
Got Hindu Man for one.
Easy game, easy life.
Oh, that's
Classic.
A good one. That's a good one.
I cannot believe what I'm witnessing.
I can just imagine like a good play and like somebody firing off these quips.
I'm only self ripping through.
That's a classic call from Bart there.
Yeah.
Let's get down for esports.
Nice.
I'll wait for this one.
Shout out to Merlot, yeah.
And we did ask everybody before we used their lines just to make sure they were okay with it.
Paul's better. Paul's better. I don't care who you are. Say it 3 times for the 3-time vamos, vamos, vamos.
There we go. And I believe that is the last one.
Awesome.
So yeah, get some cool quips from classic esports moments in Smite history. If you're making high-level plays in your games, you can fire off those quips and celebrate.
I mean, those are going to immediately go out the second someone dies when they're trying to tower dive me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're really fun. We are very open to doing another round of esports, caster quips, I think is what we're actually going to call them. I don't know. So if there's something that we missed in this first round, let us know, right? Like we just kind of picked some of the ones that came to our mind immediately for this first round, but there's probably some things that are really great.
I
So.
see people asking for the Dulcin Fire Giant steal from Vegas. I don't know if we can do that. We may have to bleep a word or two in that, but that would be funny.
Yep.
Sweet. What else is on the list?
I've got a bunch of I don't know. There's a
like
bunch of
quality
game
of
stuff.
life,
Yeah,
game
you want to go
stuff.
through
Yeah,
some of
let's
that?
go through all that stuff.
Okay. So are you in game right now?
I can
you be in
yes. Dun, 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 dun.
This is a very small one, but it's one that I'm very pleased with.
We all have like our small little things that like this really bothered me.
Yes.
Yes.
I really want this.
Yes.
Is practice okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
That's fine. So in every game that has been released in the last, I'm going to say decade, but I'm probably exaggerating slightly. How do you ping in Smite?
Oh yes, this feature.
Yeah.
You have to either push V
Yep.
and then click, or you have to hold Alt and then click on the map. Now you can just click middle mouse button, and it will ping where your targeter is. So this is just the easiest dumb thing, but I think it's just a nice little feature that should make it easier for people to just, especially when they're new, know how to ping. And in the future, we can make this better. We can make it like context sensitive. There's a lot we can do. But this was just the quick, middle mouse button is ping.
Yeah.
So not a console feature, sorry. But this is we actually have been thinking about maybe there's a way we can do this on console. There's one button that is somewhat underutilized. So basically, the thought was that there's a button to cancel a cast,
Yes.
right? And if you don't have a targeter up, you could make that button do something that isn't like a core gameplay function. Like this, you could potentially put on it. You couldn't put an item or something that you would want to use, but you could maybe do that. So that's a potential maybe for console in the future. But anyway, this is just a very minor thing that makes me happy. So I wanted to spend too long talking about that. We've got there's some Conquest pacing changes
Yes.
that I can talk about the high level goals of, and we can talk about the
Yes.
numbers of later, and
Yes.
you can walk me through a little bit more. We are changing the XP and gold pacing to try and align the pacing of the two systems together while addressing some feedback we received from the community. So players will level slightly slower, but gain gold slightly faster.
Yes.
So it may take you a couple more minutes to hit level 20, but the time it takes you to hit full build will go down. So right now, it was like people were getting to full build really early, and then they had to keep playing for a long time before they got to full build. And that overemphasized base stat like contributions and underemphasized items. So go for it.
Yeah, so really, it just feels a little bit fundamentally weird to have items and your, like, there's a feeling of completing your item build, and then there's a feeling of completing your character's base progression of getting to level 20. And when they are very mismatched, it just creates a very odd dynamic. That's one thing we want to resolve on its own, right? Like,
I think your mic's dying again.
oh, it's I need a
Yeah,
you
gotta hover over it. Yeah.
Sorry. So that disparity between them and like that just feels weird, and it feels like those should be more in sync with each other. If you choose to farm a whole bunch of gold and forgo some experience, that can vary. But like you were seeing things where like it was like 2 items off worth of like being even close. So bringing those closer just kind of makes more sense. It also means that the contribution of your character's innate stats you get from per level, you get from ranking up your abilities as compared to the power that items are contributing. These are now more in sync with each other, where before, if one's favored over the other, like if you finish your item build way before you hit level 20, items have the most important thing. Your base stats are actually pretty, they're a lot less significant because you're just not going to get to the point where they contribute meaningfully. If you hit level 20, but you're only at 4 items, well, your base stats are the most important things. So characters with high base damage would be really good. Characters with higher base stats, just parts of their kit that like scale more off base values, those characters would be arbitrarily stronger than they would be otherwise. So this kind of just makes these contribute more evenly with each other, which means character strengths are going to be more in line with each other on regards to like, if you are a high base damage character, you're not going to just be absolutely overpowering everyone way too much, and then the tables get absolutely flipped on you suddenly. You'll be able to leverage that power more in the early game, but then when the items come online, the carriers are able to respond in kind, and that's just it's going to feel more natural versus a sudden switch flip that happens, right? So this should just make the game feel overall better paced.
Nice. And there will also be a lot of god and item balance changes that we're just not going to cover today. That would be a lot to get through all that too, I think. But kind of wave 3 of that happens. So this isn't a change that happens in isolation. We're making other changes as well. So like on its head, this change probably benefits like carries more than tanks because tanks are more base stat focused. But there's going to be a lot of other changes to tanks in this patch. So.
Yeah, and I know right now the pacing of games is pretty close to where we'd want it. I don't know exactly if we want to make it slightly longer or shorter. That I just don't have the information right now. Because that's something that the Council of Math is a bit more in tune with, and I just need to go catch up with them and see where they're at. But I know we're really close. So the goal isn't here to like slow down anything to the point where games are taking 5 minutes longer. You should have a reasonably similarly paced game. It's just now your items and your levels are going to be more in sync with each other.
Cool. Awesome. And then, there was another question that was good. Oh, what happens if you have middle mouse button already bound? We aren't going to overwrite the binding, but you won't be able to use the middle mouse to ping because you're using it for something else. But you can assign that to a different button if you want to. There's just like a new button that you can set. Okay, can we go back in game for the next feature?
I am back in game.
Okay, so buy award.
Let's see here. Consumables. Oh,
yep, you're filtered. Does it not work? Doesn't work in practice. Okay, can you go into Conquest real quick?
Yeah, 1 second. I don't want to spoil anything. 1 second.
Yeah. Okay, so while we're doing that, I'm going to read to you about the ranked change that will be coming in the next update. So we will be doing, with OB9, we will be doing a ranked soft reset, and Season 0 Spring Split will be incoming. If you are Plat 2 and under, you will not be soft reset. If you are Master Plus, you will be affected the hardest. And the highest rank that you achieved during OB9 will grant your first ranked border in OB10. So I guess the actual reset is coming in OB10. And then there will be small SR calculation adjustments, and larger adjustments are planned and will either hit on patch day or shortly thereafter. So that is directly from what Max wrote to me. So I will leave it at that because that's what I know about.
Yep.
All right, I am almost in game. I'm loading.
And we are going to be one other question to answer while we're going through this. This should be flash tested tomorrow, so you can let us know how everything feels. And then we'll be going live on Monday, except for the Kali aspect, which will go live a week later.
Yes.
Cool.
So you said buy a ward.
Buy a ward, yeah. And look, Achilles has purchased a vision ward. Whenever anybody on your team buys anything that helps the team or that the team might want to play off of, it will notify your entire lobby of this. So this is something that Smite 1 did. If you go into your, but we actually kind of expanded the system a little bit, I would say. So if you go into items that you can buy, sorry, you got chat open, and you buy like Executioner, for example.
I don't have enough gold. 1 second.
Rip.
What's the
add gold space and then a big number?
Oh, I don't think that worked.
Maybe you're not admin or GM.
Add gold.
And then it should be like
space.
Like 99999.
There we go. Okay.
Cool.
There you go.
Okay. So if
and you said Exy.
Yeah, buy an Executioner, right? So an Executioner is something that your team might want to play off of because it applies piercing, right? So knowing that somebody else on your team has something that applies piercing maybe is going to change your what you want to build in your build path, right? Mm-hmm. So that's something that we want to notify you about. You can also see the new ability upgrade icon there. Which we mentioned we were changing, but we didn't show, so hopefully that feels better. This will show, I believe, on console, even though console doesn't have full chat, right? In the same way that like VGS shows in that area on console. Most active items will show up here. And then the other thing, can you, probably you're strong enough to kill a jungle camp. Can you go kill one of the jungle camps that drops something?
Yes.
Like the ward camp or something? Yeah. Sorry. Once again, I'm spending too much time on a feature, but I think that this is a nice quality of life thing that will hopefully help people understand what's going on in the game a little bit better. In just a minute, we will see the next part of this feature. So when you pick up a Cyclops ward, it says Achilles has picked up the Cyclops ward.
Nice, cool.
So whenever, like if you pick up the runic bomb or the obsidian dagger or any on-map thing that you can pick up, Eyes of the Jungle, it will also send a message saying this person on your team picked it up. So you won't get the message if somebody on the opposing team picks up the runic bomb or the obsidian dagger, but just one extra little thing that was not happening. We think that this will help people remember to ward more often because very frequently, like you're standing in your base and you see somebody else bought wards and you're like, oh shit, I should buy wards too, right? So we think it should help, hopefully. Cool. Another thing that has changed in Conquest that we won't be able to show off easily, so I'm just going to tell you about it. Wind sprites. Wind sprites are very controversial.
Yes.
And we think that the reason why they were so controversial is because you could just always use them.
Right.
So for wind sprites, you will not be able to use them if you are feared, grabbed, knocked back, levitating, mesmerized, rooted, stunned, taunted, or crippled.
Which I don't know if that's just meant to say hard CC.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's verbose.
Yes. There is basically any CC will prevent you from using the wind sprites. So that's should be better and hopefully a better experience. Okay. Also, Aladdin's AO3 wall run leap targeting should be significantly improved.
Yes.
And I'm calling that out here because it is a big improvement, hopefully, and not just in our normal QOL stuff, which we'll run through, which it should no longer cancel and drop straight down if you confirm it in invalid terrain, unless you never aim in a valid spot.
Yeah, that's like if you aim outside, you wall run on the outside of the map and you always aim outside the map. Then in that case, you literally don't have a valid location that you ever tried to aim. It's kind of like Apollo, if you do that in Smite 1, where if you actually go to the edge of the map and you ult and you aim outside of it and run around the map, and you get to the other side of the map and run out of mana, you'll actually fly all the way back.
Oh, wow.
Same way to resolve those cases.
We've made some other changes so that the aim is more likely to match the player's desired location and uses your last valid aim location. So if it times out an invalid location, it'll pick your last valid location. So that should be good. What else do we have? We also have, I know we're on dev. Is there a way that we can show God screen or match lobby without spoiling things? I'm thinking maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Let's see. Is this a good good screen. Am I spoiling anything here? I also don't have a whole lot of progress on my dev account, so it's not really the best. But maybe this screen cap right here to like show off, and I do have a little bit right here on Merlin we could talk about.
Okay.
Let's see here. There we go.
Okay, cool. So
don't scroll.
Okay, so you can see on the God screen now, there is on the bottom left your mastery progress surfaced for every God. This little radial bar is going to fill, so you can see how much progress you're making and how close you are to your next mastery level.
Yeah.
This also is going to be in the pre-match lobby. So on the corner of every god's portrait, there is this same icon will appear. So you'll be able to tell from the match lobby like how close you are to leveling up, and it'll kind of help you pick who you want to play and work towards that. So
when those double worshiper weekends happen, and you're like, who do I need to play to get my next mastery level? It'll be really apparent, who's close to getting a new level.
Yep, and we have had the ability to sort by like mastery and closest to mastery and whatnot. But I think that the fact that we weren't surfacing this progress meant that players weren't like aware of what was happening as much. So I think it's a nice little quality of life thing. We also have God Builder stuff. I don't know if we can maybe leave us to go into the God Builder, or I guess you can click on that and not click on use anything.
Yeah, there we go.
Sweet. A few improvements in this update. We're still working on it, not everything that we have yet. But there is a search field now, so you can search for something. There's also a filter here, so you can filter for different types of modes and different searches or different, anything that you want there. There's been kind of an overall experience pass on gamepad, which should make it much easier to use. In particular, your focus will no longer reset to the top every time that you lock in an item, so you don't have to like keep scrolling down to an area, which should be nice. Also, we're going to change the way that you level up abilities on that screen, where you just need to click on the icon for that ability rather than clicking in the little squares and trying to actually get the number in the right thing. It just should be a lot easier. The stats panel is also going to default to level 20 instead of level 1. In this build, it's still defaulting to level 1. We got that feedback. And there's just a lot of other kind of more smaller improvements that are coming in this. The other big piece is that this system now ties into auto build and auto skill.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So if you, from the God Builder tab in this, if you pin a build, it will appear, this one already will because it's a default one, but it'll appear as one of your choices for auto build at the beginning of a match, and auto build and auto skill will then follow the build guide that you have pinned. So that should be a big improvement for people that just want to pick a good build and follow it exactly. So that should be good. I don't think I have anything else to say about that.
No, yeah, lots of cool quality of life improvements for the God Builder. I know it released in OB8, and it's getting even better in OB9.
Yep, and we'll continue to get better in OB10. One thing that still has not made it in that we want is the copy 2, so you can make a copy of a build. That is going to be OB10 at this point, but we're still getting in as many good updates as we can to OB9. The last thing I have on my list is that we will be doing an in-game event for Mother's Day. Don't need to tease the whole event right now, but there is going to be an event that's live for that, that you can get a jump stamp that I believe looks like kind of the traditional like mom heart tattoo.
Yeah.
And by popular demand,
yes,
we are also going to have like a quest over. I believe it's just going to be a quest over Mother's Day to get the Tiamat Mother's Day badge available as a first win of the day type quest for that period. So we hear you, chat. You want your Tiamat Mother's Day badge, and we were able to get it in. So. So I think that's everything I had on my list. beyond obviously the huge number of balance changes
know,
that we aren't
right?
getting into today.
Yeah, I know Pon and crew are still working on balance stuff. We'll probably talk about that on our Wednesday show or maybe our Friday show once we get patch notes for OB9 all the way locked in and ready to go.
Yep, and we did, I believe, ship a hotfix this morning.
We did, yes. With we kind of talked about it. Let me see if I can pull up those notes really quick.
Yeah, and I think there was maybe some issue with the Kali one that we're looking to address to make sure that, I don't know if that actually got in properly, so that one will eventually be in. But we can quickly go over those.
Yeah, 1 second, Chad. I will pull up the hotfix notes from today. So Agni's Aspect did go live this morning, but in terms of balance, Lernian Bow, the projectiles fired from this can no longer go through walls.
Yep, just let people actually block it with terrain. Makes it so you can't get like sniped over like without being able to like see the user of it. Just made more sense with the item.
And then our last item for the hotfix, Sundering Arc, we're going to be decreasing the damage dealt to gods from 25 plus 4 per level to 20 plus 3 per level.
Yeah, we initially upped the damage on this and lowered the cooldown on the PvE usage of it because we felt like if we're going to encourage it for PvE, we want to give some love to the PvP side of it as well. That just made it very, 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 very good. We feel like now we don't really need that. So I think this is actually back to its pre-buff numbers, but it still retains that other adjustment we did where if you use it on Jungle Camp, you get the lower cooldown.
All right, next up for gods, Poseidon seeing a shift to
Not
aspect
a shift.
of the Trident. Not a shift, it's
we
a
originally
nerf.
were going to shift this.
It's a nerf, yeah, straight up nerf. Going to be decreasing the focused side waves damage on that for the aspect.
Yep, just an overall nerf. We found out some other things about it. We're like, actually, we don't feel like this needs to be shifted. We can just straight up nerf this.
Yeah. Next up, Princess Bari got a few things here. Pon, talk to us about what's going on with Bari.
This one is a shift.
Yes.
So, and a lot of the other patches, we kind of brought down damage, but we hit and builds a bit harder than previously. But especially with all the big recent number of changes we did to a whole bunch of the items, her strength and her crit build is definitely doing really well. Bari as a whole is actually not doing super great. But when you take her strength version of it, that's actually doing really well. The inside of it isn't doing so well. So we're taking some power away from that crit and strength focus build, and we're trying to bring up the intelligence side of her to make that those builds a bit more comparable, just even them out.
Yeah. All right, and then last up for gods, with the one I think we're working on getting these implemented into game, but Kali will be seeing some nerfs here. Lash going to be decreasing the scaling and the bleed scaling, and then Incense we're going to be decreasing the heal, and this is for base Kali.
Yeah, Int Kali, definitely a new way of playing her. We made sure that we wanted to make sure it was really good because it was a new way to build her, and we wanted to make sure that felt very distinct. But the numbers we chose were just a bit too high, especially on Lash for just a poke ability that was able to do. If all three hit, it was 90% scaling plus the bleed tick scaling, which is just very, very, very high. And then Incense gave her too much sustain overall, so she could burst her health a bit too effectively without having to get kills. We just feel like bringing these two parts down means Incense should still be the thing that really hurts. Getting a 5-stack on someone and consuming it should be a big chunk of damage. But the free poke she was getting with Lash compounded with that too much. And so we decided to take away from the Lash instead of the whole core loop, which is to get those Incense stacks built up and consumed.
Sweet. Well, all those should be live pending the Kali stuff, which should hopefully be live within the next couple hours. I know Kabir was working on getting that applied to the server for the hotfix. But outside of that, man, we talked about a lot of stuff today, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kilgoon, give us the recap. I know you like giving us the recap.
I'll give you the recap.
In 2 weeks. What's going on?
In 2 weeks. In 2 weeks since the last time we did one of these patches, we have introduced Guan Yu. We have aspects for Guan Yu and a huge aspect for Kali that turns her into a hunter. We have the first Traveler market with the bee emoji, the bee Jingwei, her ladybug prism, and a bunch of other stuff. We have the esports quips. We have 33 classic announcer packs. You can now use your middle mouse button to ping. We made improvements to God Builder, adding search, improving the UX, changing the way that you set ability orders, and integrating it with auto build and auto skill. We have updated the pre-match lobby in the God tab to show God mastery. We've made changes to Conquest pacing in addition to a huge number of God and item balance things,
changes,
which we didn't go over today. Players can now not use win sprites if they are CC'd. Aladdin's wall run should be much better. You now get notifications in chat when items are purchased by your teammates. There will be a ranked soft reset and Season 0 spring split. There's going to be a Mother's Day event with a jump stamp and the Tiamat Mother's Day badge. There's the classic Senshi Bologna skin with prisms, and there is the Cerberus Shadow Century cross-gen skin. So 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks.
That's a lot of stuff.
We continue. We understand there's a lot that we still need to get done. I think the game just keeps getting better every 2 weeks, and really that's our intent, right? We could be like one of those studios that ships a patch every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks, and it's, there's these huge, big, sweeping changes, and we feel like we can ship a lot of very important changes every 2 weeks and make the game better every 2 weeks so that you can consistently feel it getting better and better and better and better. Yeah. So that's our strategy. We're going to keep moving forward, and I think it's going, right? I think the game's getting better. There's obviously more stuff in future patches, right? But that's what's made it into this one, and I'm excited about all of it, particularly middle mouse to ping. That is the thing I'm most excited about.
Sweet. Well, we got about 5 minutes left, so you just want to do
one more question.
Just one question.
And for people that joined late while we're waiting for questions to come in, this is our first show in the new room.
Yeah. I keep forgetting I need to actually talk here if you guys want to hear me, and I slowly creep back.
Yeah.
You guys can't hear me.
There's a lot we got to fix clearly from this first show. The walls are boring.
I would move it closer, but this is actually
that's the furthest it'll go. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also we moved to a new building across the street that's bigger and kind of better for the dev team, and we just didn't want to keep having to walk across the street to the old building, which I think we still have leased for another few years because of the contract. But we were like, no, it's better to not have to go across the street to use the room, and we should set up over here since we're going to be over here now. So it's not perfect yet, but it's kind of in the same way as our development process.
If you have any feedback, tweet it at us, and we'll work to incorporate it for sure.
Awesome. Hindu says it'll be fixed for next show. He promises. The other thing, Hindu, this TV has overscan on, so I can't see the corners when we're in game. So something for us to fix. Anyway, Alani check. I did not get an Alani today. I had too much caffeine this morning.
Am I the only one? I'm cherry twist today.
I just have a lime.
I'm the only one on the Alani
LaCroix. I don't know how to say this, but I had too much caffeine this morning, so I had to chill out a little bit.
Cool. Let's see. Let me pick a question. Yeah, banger for sure. Inbound cherry twist is so good. Let's see.
I will answer a not actual question. Is it claustrophobic in there? No, this room is actually much bigger than the other room, and it's a better room. It's just we just don't have it fully set up yet, so it looks smaller because of the way that the camera angles are and whatnot.
Let's see here. This is not a fun one, but it's a good question. Will most gods have at least one skin soon in Smite 2? Many have multiples, but a lot are lacking.
So I would say yes-ish. We have a list of all of the gods that do not currently have skins. The ones that don't have skins mostly were gods that we added and did very quickly during the kind of sprint to 50 that we had heading into our open beta. And some of those just got missed. So like Vulcan doesn't have a skin. I don't think Artemis has a skin.
I think she has the Fletch spawn.
Does she? That's right. That's right.
Like Uller doesn't have one.
Yeah. So we have a list of everybody, and I believe everybody is on the calendar, but it may take a little while before we actually get to everybody. But we are aware that some people don't have skins yet, and it'd be good. Achilles doesn't have a skin, I think.
Yeah.
I think we have the list. Everybody is scheduled. It's just going to be a little while before we get through the list. So. Can we get Guan Unicorn as the first classic for Guan? He would look so cool with prisms. I think he might be the first classic.
Oh, nice.
That's a little teaser. I'm pretty sure that he is. So.
Oh, someone asked the question. I was waiting to see if anyone would ask it. Will Guan get the bongos back?
That's a good one.
For a long time, we actually thought the sound file was lost. And so we could rip it from a video, but we wanted to have the raw sound file. We're going to do anything. We did find it.
Nice.
But one original idea for his aspect was to make the 3 a lot more different, and the aspect was going to use the bongo sound instead, and that was going to be a way to signify that it was different. That aspect we ended up not liking. We went with this one instead, which means it wasn't a great place to place the bongos, but we do now have the sound file.
Nice.
Which was one of the main
So it's possible.
So we could bring it back in some way, shape, or form, maybe like a skin, maybe there's other ways to do it, but we do have the sound now, but we ended up not having a great place for it. We felt like keeping it to the Guan Yu that most people who have ever played Smite have played before was just at least the better call for this version. And we're going to bring back bongos if there was another place for it, but there wasn't one.
Sweet. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it for our show today. Kilgoon, Pon, thanks so much for joining me on the show. Lots of cool stuff in Open Beta 9 that players can look forward to. First flash test should be tomorrow afternoonish, I believe, around 2 o'clock is the plan. Subject to change, just based off of, the team working and making sure everything gets done. But keep an eye out on our official social media channels for flash test news. Join the official Discord for all that good stuff as well. Hotfix for Open Beta 8 live now. You can play with Odd Needs Aspect. Few balance changes live now in Smite 2 as well. But until then, chat, thanks so much for hanging out, and we will see you all on the battleground. Peace.